Is a great day at the Leadership Center because I have the ability to introduce as our leader lunch break, the brand new chair of our board, Kip Bolin. I know that Kip is going to provide an overview of his career and leadership journey, but I have to hit just a few highlights. So Kip started his journey into adulthood by leaving his hometown just outside of Toledo. We have that in common, by the way, where he went off to New York University and then to Georgetown Law Center. In the intervening 30 years since he began practicing law, Kip has built a national reputation as a top-notch business litigator and leader. His practice includes the defense of class actions, products liability claims, and the representation of companies in a wide variety of business disputes. In addition to juggling the many demands of his national practice, Kip has leveraged both his business and his people savvy to serve as partner in charge of Thompson Hines' Cleveland office. As some of you, as someone who has spent more than 30 years in the legal industry, I can tell you managing lawyers is not for the faint of heart. The fact that so many of Kip's colleagues from Thompson Hine are joining us at today's Leader Lunch Break is a real testament to just how well he is loved by his colleagues. While Kip has earned many, many achievements in his professional life, I know that one of the most important to him was his selection about a decade ago as president of the Federal Bar Association, a professional association for attorneys and judges whose mission is to advance the legal profession and promote the administration of justice in the federal courts. During his presidency, Kip focused significantly on the role of lawyers in advancing and protecting democracy. His stellar work has also led Kip to being listed at the top of all of those lawyer lists that exist around the world, including Crane's 2025 list of notable litigators and trial attorneys, the best lawyers in America for at least a decade running, Ohio super lawyers, and more. But just as important, I know, to Kip are the long list of accomplishments, both small and big, that he has achieved in the community here in Cleveland. Many of our local organizations have thrived because of Kip's leadership and partnership, including the United Way of Greater Cleveland, Great Lakes Theater, Circle Health Services, and of course, our very own Cleveland Leadership Center. In addition to serving as a CLC trustee for the past 4 years and then becoming our chair just 29 days ago, Kip is a very proud member of the leadership class of Cleveland 2020, which also has some friends in the audience. So with that, Kip, I'm going to stop and yield the floor to you and say thank you for being today's Leader Lunch Break.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Becky. My advice to everybody in the audience today is get someone like Becky Rupert McMahon to introduce you. That was a bit heady and a bit much, but thank you. I appreciate it. I also feel a little awkward because I've been asked to talk a little bit about myself as we start. So I feel like you're having an overdose here, but I'll do my best to limit it. I also want to thank, in addition to Becky, my fellow board members, many of whom are on this call, my predecessor, Bill Castor, who helped shape a lot of what I'm going to talk about today, my Leadership Cleveland classmates who've joined us, and of course, my colleagues from Thompson Hine. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Again, to start off, I've been asked to talk about my journey into the role of CLC board chair and the insights that have shaped my leadership approach. Well, like most of you, I had no formal training on being a leader. It was almost all on-the-job training and stealing good ideas from people who I admire. So I'm going to take you on a quick trip back to the beginning, literally. So even if you leave here today wondering what my leadership approach is, you'll at least know some of the ingredients. So again, born in Toledo, I grew up in Perrysburg, Ohio. I have a big sister. She's the better looking one on the right there. I had two loving parents. Well, this is, first of all, I grew up in the 70s, as this will attest, appropriately addressed for the 70s. I had two loving parents, both educators. My dad, Tom, my mom, Connie. He was a superintendent. She was a teacher. They met at University of Toledo when he was directing, and she was starring in the musical Bye Bye Birdie. Again, they were educators, a teacher and a superintendent. They instilled the value of public education and learning in me. I later realized that they also taught me to see my teachers as people, not just teachers. That was a big thought when you're 6. And to understand my teachers' challenges, it was an empathetic approach to life. Don't just see the roles, see the people who who are filling the roles. And it's something I carried with me throughout my life. And to even become a teacher, you have to want to help others. And both my parents lived their care for others in their daily professional lives. And that's something I've always strived for. I eventually left Perrysburg and went to New York City, as Becky said, for college at NYU. This is our graduation when they used to have it back at on Washington Square. Nowadays it's at Yankee Stadium, which is cool, but I don't know, not quite as cool. After that, on to DC and Georgetown for law school, where I learned to think like a lawyer, for better or for worse. This is an actual photo of actual students using the actual law library where I spent God knows how many hours, weeks, months of my life studying, learning. And for those of you who don't know, today is the second day of the Ohio bar exam. There are law students out there right now sitting, answering essay questions, and it's making me nervous just to think about it. So I'm going to stop. But yeah, this is where all that happened. This image right here for me is a little nostalgia and a little bit of anxiety, if I'm telling the truth. After school, came back to Ohio, and I brought my new bride, Kathy. Wow, look at those kids. We were young then. August 12th coming up will be our 30th anniversary. Rather than jump right into practice, I was lucky to go learn from the Honorable Judge Sam Bell of the United States District Court for the Northern District of Ohio. I wanted to keep learning a little bit before I practiced. Thanks, Mom and Dad. It started a lifetime relationship with the federal courts. I learned from the judge about the law and writing and good advocacy, as you'd expect, and also about justice, about needing to truly see people, about pausing, about being in the moment. When the judge met with the parties, and he always did, he would hear them and hear what their problems were. Sometimes the lawsuit had nothing to do with the law. It had to do with how someone felt or how they were treated. He would hear them, and when they were done, they knew they'd been heard. It didn't matter at that point whether they won, lost, or settled. Of course, it mattered to them, but they knew at that moment that they had their day in court, and I saw him dispense that justice on the daily basis. I also learned to look to the people who make things work, the deputy, the security officers, the clerk's office. They saw things that I didn't, and I valued their perspectives. I also got to work alongside a couple of other amazing law clerks. First, Carolyn Brang Jacobs, who's now the co-dean at Cleveland State School of Law. Carolyn helped me learn the ropes. She was a year ahead of me. And next, Paul Graywall, who's now chief legal officer at Coinbase. He's also a former head of worldwide litigation at Facebook. That's a good title for you. Get yourself one of those titles. Worldwide litigation. Former United States magistrate judge. I bring this up just to show that I was surrounded by greatness, and I'm clearly the least successful of the entire group. So it's good to have a little humility. So Kathy and I, we raised our family. We had an Emily, and then we had a Kenny. From them, I learned patience and joy, the true power of pervasive and what I'll call unshakable love. I got perspective on a daily basis of what's important and what is just something that's happening that day. I've been constantly reminded how lucky I am, and I've learned not to take anything for granted. Now back to work. I'm an oddball. I've been at the same workplace, same law firm, Thompson Hines, since 1997. Here I learned to be a lawyer. I learned that placing the client first is the right answer every time. I learned that if you stick around long enough, they put you in charge. Now, early on, I was looking for a way to get involved, and this guy, Don Messenger, who I saw was signed up to attend today, he told me about the free clinic. On the east side, I joined the associate board, and to this day, it's one of the best boards I've ever been on. Folks, we had meetings in bars and restaurants. We had people who were engaged and excited. There, I learned how to run a meeting, how to respect other people's time, how to pitch in, This was a great board. You know how someone will have an idea and you want to get something done and there's a project coming up and maybe there's a little bit of side eye seeing who's going to step up. This board was the opposite. Everybody jumped in immediately and grabbed responsibility for things. Phenomenal. Taught me a lot. I know that also scheduled to be on the call today was Danny Williams, who was in charge of the free clinic at that time. Learned something from Danny, and that was how to accept change. The free clinic's business model at that time was changing. The AFA was passed. It was great for the patients, but we needed to change our model to keep up. So we joined forces with the Centers for Families and Children. It was change. It was hard, and we did it. Learned a valuable lesson. And also, it helped that Sharon Sobel Jordan was the head of the centers at that time. So thank you, Sharon, for making that transition happen. Finally, my time on the Free Clinic Board was a healthy reminder on a weekly basis of the dignity of all, perhaps especially the people at the bottom of society's safety net, which is what we were all about. Professionally, I went where my heart was, back to the federal courts. I got involved in the local chapter of the Federal Bar Association. I have a hard time doing things in half measure. So in 2010, I became the president of the local chapter. And the next year, I joined the national board. 3 years later, leadership ladder, yada, yada. I was president in 2017, 2018. And that was the first year of the first Trump administration. We're a nonpartisan organization. We're a bunch of lawyers. We're a big tent. I learned a lot about listening. And I learned a lot about finding common ground. I traveled the country and met lawyers and judges everywhere. That's a photo of me with Justice Kennedy. There were some exciting times. And I talked a lot about the independence of the judiciary and the rule of law. Again, something I've learned by that point, be sure to invest your time in the things that are important to you. That's what I was doing. And then I found the Cleveland Leadership Center. So I started my Leadership Cleveland experience in 2019. And there I did learn a bit more formally about leadership. It was about time, right? I recognized that some of the things I'd been doing were real and many of them were correct. I also learned a lot of other things that I was supposed to be doing. It was my class. We were awesome. I know a lot of my classmates are on the call today. Thanks for being here. Not surprising. We learned together, we taught each other, we bonded in ways that many of you have also experienced. And 2019, class of 2020 was unique. We were disrupted, as you all know, the COVID crisis, the pandemic. We were stuck at home, a group of leaders trying to lead from our living rooms. No one had done this before. We didn't have a script. We were wondering how we got to this position. And this is, for me, when the power of Leadership Cleveland became obvious. We had Zoom meetings. We talked to each other about challenges, some solutions. We were not alone. Forgive me for using as an example the Hamilton Cast Zoom performance, but it was like my favorite. So, and this is why I'm here, not Hamilton, but rather the class, the experience. I saw the power of this organization, the ability to bring people together, people of different backgrounds, but with shared goals and shared problems. We discussed how to work remotely. It was new. How to get people engaged, how to avoid isolation. We were not alone. We were there for each other, and I want everyone to have that same chance to get that same thing. So I'm on the board here now, along with 2 other organizations I care about and that are making a difference. As Becky said, the United Way and also Great Lakes Theater. Again, it's advice I give to our youngsters. Invest your time in the things you love. I believe that together we can accomplish all sorts of things. My Leadership Cleveland experience taught me that we can work together and lead and even do things that seem impossible sometimes. So that's my leadership journey, or at least what I'm going to talk about today. And that's what feeds the next part of this discussion. Let me tell you a little bit about the Cleveland Leadership Center. For those of you that don't know, it was founded in 2006 by some visionary community members who wanted to unite 4 existing leadership programs: Leadership Cleveland, Cleveland Bridge Builders, Campus Cleveland, and Look Up to Cleveland. Since its founding, it's now expanded to serve leaders across a life and career continuum, including Civic Leadership Institute, which is a survey course, Onboard Cleveland for early career professionals. By the way, if you're not sending your people to Onboard Cleveland, get on that. Once I discovered it several years ago, we put people in every year in every class. It is phenomenal. It's great for them. It's great for their development, but also it shows them your investment in them. I can't recommend it highly enough. Cleveland Champions, which is a rising leaders of color, and this year of a women's cohort program. This is what we've been offering, and several years ago, going back probably to the beginning of my time on the board in 2020, we started talking about a refresh and what were we going to do next. So we started having conversations in 2021 to 2023. Thank you, Ethan Karp, who helped lead a lot of those discussions. And in 2024, Becky joined us as our new CEO. So it was a perfect time to review where we've been and where we want to go next. So how did we do it? We started some focused conversations led by Bill Castor, my predecessor, with the full CLC board, the executive committee, CLC professional staff from October of 24 through May of 2025. There was a significant review of programs and events, applicant pools, registrations, income, expenses, participant survey data, outcomes. We had 6 years of financial operations that we put under the microscope, and we did an environmental assessment of other organizations throughout Northeast Ohio who were offering programs or events that are similar to ours. What's working? What are we doing best? What should we double down on? Maybe there's something someone else is doing better. Let's figure this out. We also engaged in significant discussion of opportunities and challenges facing Cleveland today and in the foreseeable future with consideration of, what can CLC do to help? A lot of you know that when you're finishing up Bridge Builders or Leadership Cleveland, it's not uncommon for there to be a feeling of not wanting it to end. Also of being primed to get out there and do something with your newfound knowledge. What can we do to harness it? That's what we were asking. So at what we ended up doing was we put together our Vision 2035 plan. The board approved it recently. It's a 10-year strategic vision with a 3-year strategic plan. We started it up just now, and this is going to be our North Star. Our programs have always been about how we do the things that are important, how we get to where we want to go. They're not why we do things. The why we do things is to activate the leaders in this town who come to us to work together to make Cleveland stronger. They want to learn from each other. They want to become better leaders, and they want to help our area grow. And so we've got the 2035 vision plan. We're looking to engineer. This is our tight language. It's all very real. Engineer experiences that move leaders. For my money, this is the part where we're already doing. This is the part that we're doing really well. This is the part where people understand that Cleveland Leadership Center is about this. We want to have great experiences. We want to have great programming. We want to provide leadership training. We want to have a diverse spectrum of leaders, everybody in the community, private, public, nonprofit. We want to then take that. What do you do next? You got to fuel the network. You have to ignite the region. We want to take our alumni. We want to mobilize them, connect them. That connection that you wanted to continue when you finish Leadership Cleveland and Bridge Builders. We want to make it easier. It's our job to help structure that, to connect so that you can continue to lead and serve and shape what's next for Cleveland. And then we talked about the future, unify and fortify the civic ecosystem. We want to take the civic passion that people have, our leaders, the tools we have, the skills, the knowledge, the connections. We want to use that to focus on a problem, see what we can do to make things better. This is our goal, and it's going to get pretty specific, and you're going to see a lot of things happening in the near future. But this is the short and long-term goal. How will we measure success? We'll know that it's working when we've see an increased number of leaders who fuel their passion for civic leadership by participating in our programs and transform that passion into collective action that improves our region in specific measurable ways. Now, the real work happens in the execution stage. This is all good planning, but we can't just check a box and say we're done. We need to now use our plan. We need to get out and do things. Some ways you can help. Number one, those of you who have been looking at your LinkedIn have seen that we have creating a new position, Director of Alumni Engagement. This person will be instrumental in working with Becky and the entire team to build a strategic plan for how we will galvanize the 11,000 CLC alumni to come together to lead, serve, and better shape Cleveland. If it's you, let us know. If you know someone, help spread the word about this great opportunity. This is a central pillar of what we're going to be doing in the years to come. Also, in the next 18 months, our board's going to be digging deep into looking at some initiatives for that third unify and fortify prong of what we're doing in order to bring organizations together to tackle systemic issues. We're also, of course, going to continue to create opportunities for leaders at every stage to invest in their own leaderships and skills and capacities. A couple of examples, we've got our Spark event coming up, at which we're going to be hearing from Lillian Curie from the Cleveland Foundation, along with Randy McShepard, who's the new board chair there, and many others. This is an inspirational day. Hope you'll join us. And the ALI, for those who haven't heard, the Advanced Leadership Institute is relaunching on August 12th, my anniversary. And this becomes, the program is going to offer civic leadership learning laboratory for established leaders to build relationships and learn leadership skills. This is going to be a kind of a new take on a program we've had for a while. We've got people from my firm who are going to attend. I'm pretty excited for them. It's something that if I were not otherwise occupied, I'd be taking it as well. I think this is going to be a phenomenal leadership training experience for all. So sorry for the both quick and yet too long explanation of what's going on at Cleveland Leadership Center. At this point, I'll kick it back over to Becky, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
That's perfect, Kip. Perfect timing. So much to cover in such a short time, but well done. Well done. I do have a couple of questions. So the first is, you mentioned at the top of the house that you've been with Thompson Hine for since 1997, which is a remarkable run. So I'm curious, what drew you to the firm to begin with, and more importantly, what keeps you there now?
Yeah, so the answer to both questions is the people. I will tell you that the practice of law here has been amazing, and I have nothing but positive things to say. I've had a phenomenal experience. I've practiced law at a high level, and I've enjoyed the challenges and the successes, and learned from the failures. It's been a great place. But really, I mean, you can practice law lots of places. I'm here because of the people. I'll tell you that on the front end, one of the people who got me here was Pudge Henkel, who many of you know, not a litigator like me, but who, when I sat down and talked with him when I was a 24-year-old law student, you know, he saw me as a 24-year-old. He made me feel seen. He was interested in who I was. Later, when I talked to him, I went back to him before I took my clerkship and said, "What do you think, Pudge? Should I do this?" This is a guy who's, you know, 30 years older than me, 20 years older than me at the time. And I instantly took to him. And there are a whole lot of other people who were helpful. I don't know about other firms' cultures. I've been here the whole time. I can tell you this one's supportive. People take care of each other. They're not pointing fingers. They're not using elbows. Rather, they're asking how they can help. It's always been that way. So that's why I'm here.
Great. So I'm going to combine two of the questions that are in the chat, and they relate to what you think is the biggest challenge that's facing Cleveland. And how do you think CLC, and this is where I'm combining questions, how do you think CLC and our alumni can help impact that greatest challenge?
Yeah. Well, you know, I hate to even say it because it's almost become too obvious, but one of the biggest challenges facing Cleveland, or at least it's as a civic challenge, is our lack of unity, our 10,000 organizations that are trying to address 1,000 problems. And, there's a lot of people who are trying to accomplish the same things, but doing it alone, or perhaps not connecting the way they should. And I actually think the Cleveland Leadership Center, it has an incredible opportunity to help bring people together and talk and accomplish things. I mean, a lot of these organizations, a lot of these individuals are accomplishing things. It's just not as much as they would if they were working together. And, if there's anything that the Cleveland Leadership Center does, it's connect people from government, from nonprofit, from the private sector together, educate them on what's going on in Cleveland and the challenges we have, and motivate them to work together. The connections that we make and have been making for decades are going to serve us in good stead while we bring people together and try to tackle some of those problems.
It's great. And continuing the people theme, as somebody who spends quite a bit of time mentoring and engaging with and leading next generation leaders, I'm curious, one of the questions in the chat is, what's your best piece of advice or one key lesson that you would share for others who are also in a similar position, developing next generation leaders?
Yeah, you invest in them, show them that you believe in them, give them responsibility, give them an opportunity to fail, pick them up when they do, congratulate them when they have a success, uh, see them, invest in them. You can do that with the Cleveland Leadership Center through the onboard program and other programs. Um, people talk about in another context, they talk about delegation, and I think delegation has become a little bit of a dirty word sometimes, the idea that you're just getting something off your plate, and maybe you are, but delegation for me has always been an opportunity to give someone a chance to shine. So if you're going to mentor somebody, look at them, see them, figure out what their strengths are, give them a project that is appropriate, and let them shine. And when they shine a light on it. I think that's the best advice I can give to somebody.
Well, Kip, I don't think we could end this on a better note than putting the shine and the spotlight on you. So thank you for stepping forward as this week's Leader Lunch Break. I hope you'll all join me in thanking Kip for the conversation today. And thank you in advance, Kip, for all that you're going to do over the course of the next 3 years as chair of the Cleveland Leadership Center Board. We are so grateful for your time and your engagement. So thank you. Thank you.